Happy New Week, everyone. Now, as always, I'm delighted to say that Gurav is back to join me. We've had some crazy football this last couple of days, but we have to start. Chelsea have finally lost. What is going on?
Their 34 game unbeaten run finally comes to an end. I did not see this coming in this fashion because it's none other than Everton who take all points and at Kingsmeadow. I mean, what is going on? You know what? We've talked about this a lot this season. Chelsea have seemed shaky. They've had their issues, but I didn't see this coming in this way.
No, and the fact that Everton have only won one game this season and are sitting in ninth, fair play to Chelsea and Sonia Bonpastor because I don't always defend them, but I think everybody will be celebrating this like they support Everton, and I get it. But it's Sonia Bonpastor's first loss, I'm pretty sure, in the WSL since she's been here, and her record has been unbelievable. And fair play to Everton because I think sometimes you can focus on the fact that when a team loses like Chelsea, everyone focuses on, oh, they've lost, they've lost. But I actually scored early. And I've always said, whenever a team has scored first against Chelsea when it's early, West Ham did it a couple of years ago. I remember when I did the game and I thought, oh, no, they've scored too early because everyone then still expects Chelsea to come back. The fact they scored in the 12th minute and held on was amazing, really, because Chelsea were throwing everything at it. They threw Sam Kerr on. Positives that Lauren James started a game for the first time in a few months. So that's a positive. But at the same time, yeah, City probably rubbing their hands together.
Lucy Bronze said she thought that Chelsea deserved a point. Do you agree with her?
I mean, the reality is probably yes, but at the same time, they didn't. So it's football, isn't it? And, Chelsea, like I said, they threw everything at it. Macario started as well. Hermano was in the lineup. She's kind of been in and out. She either plays or she just then doesn't play for about 2 or 3 games. Quite a weird one, really. But yeah, I do think Chelsea probably did deserve a point, but ultimately they didn't. And it's football. Like I said, the WSL, I always talk about how the lack of competitiveness between like the top four, they run away with it, it seems. And the rest of the teams are kind of like, this is a big shock. Let's be honest. Like no one, if anyone was putting bets on today's game, no one would have put a bet on this one. So if you have done and you've won a bet on this, fair play to you.
Someone's won absolutely huge money today if they put money on that. But it's like you say, I think, there's people who say in football there is no deserve. You kind of get what you deserve. And yes, I know the woodwork was Chelsea's enemy today. Do you think the main issue though for Sonia Bompasta, because we've talked about this before, and I know you've talked about this rotation and her not really knowing what her team is that still the main issue for you? Or do you think today it was just a bit of unluckiness, but also just a lack of finishing because that final pass, that shot on goal just wasn't there?
Yeah, I just think it's one of those days. I mean, they've got Roma midweek in the Champions League coming up. They've had a lot of, I'm not making excuses for them, but they've had a lot of games quick and fast, haven't they? And when you are the best, to sustain that every single game is quite difficult because Chelsea can't really win. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Everyone, if they don't win the WSL again and they don't win the Champions League, everyone's going to be saying, oh, well, it's a devastation because they have all these players. You still have to manage them. Do I think she got her team selection wrong? Not particularly, but I do think continuity of players, like Hermano starting in this game. I'm thinking, okay, she resting players so that she's then going to, did she start Lauren James because she thought this game was an easier game because Lauren James hadn't started? So, you know, ultimately, did Sonia Bampa still got it wrong? I don't think so. I just think Everton won this one, and it's not one we see very often because even when Chelsea have an off day, like they had against Leicester last year, and when they dropped points this year, they still look like they should have won the game. So the fact they've lost for the first time, it's also be interesting to see how they manage this. How do they manage this situation in the WSL? Because it's not something that they've had. All players have lost games before, but not this team. So how do they manage that? They've got Brighton next week in the WSL, Roma midweek. So looking to bounce back from that.
And also, it's been so long since we've seen Chelsea kind of not be at the top spot. I mean, I know that they're always kind of in a title race, but they're not the front runners in the title race now, which is interesting. I'll mention a couple of players from Everton. Courtney Brosnan was outstanding. Ruby Mace as well has been incredible. I think she's finally coming into her own since kind of signing there. And for Everton, that really takes them out of that relegation battle. Hopefully, gives them a bit of breathing room to actually play because we've not seen that kind of performance that we saw in the Merseyside derby. That was the first weekend of the WSL. But yeah, really all about Chelsea. And my question, Leanne, Man City, who you did actually tip to win the title or to challenge Chelsea for the title, 6 points is a lot of room. Are you going to make any bold predictions like I do?
Well, I won't be saying they're definitely going to win the league right now because I still back Chelsea, but I did say City would be the ones pushing. They're 6 points clear. But as we know, Chelsea mentality beast, mentality monsters. Now, I know we're going to come on and talk about City, but they seem to have found a way to win games, even when they're not in. Now it's 3-0 against Leicester, but it took them a long time. They had to be patient to get their first goal in that game.
Yeah, that didn't feel like a 3-0 game, did it? Because I thought Leicester were actually quite defensively resilient for most of the game. The opener came from a mistake. It's really sloppy play. And then suddenly you're letting in 3 goals. I mean, Bunny Shaw missed 6 chances before she finally got 2 goals in the end. Great to see Carolyn back from injury, of course. And she got a goal on her return, which is good. But yeah, actually, so interesting to talk about this mentality because that's exactly what we normally see from Chelsea. They're not really on top, they don't quite deserve the goals, and suddenly they come. That's exactly what happened for Man City, which makes me think actually maybe the balance is switching here.
It is, and I think what else you've got to look at is February 1st, Man City play against Chelsea. So that's going to be a massive game at that point. If Chelsea drop any more points, I mean, City could be flying at that moment in time. And fair play to Andre Yeglitz, who I don't think anyone's talking about. We spoke about him on the show a couple of weeks ago. I've known him for a really long time, not as a friend, but I played against him when he was Umeå coach. So you've got to give him a lot of credit because he's come in there seamlessly, and he's made big decisions. Like Grace Clinton didn't start in this game. And he seems to be like making good decisions, quietly going about their business. Bunny Shaw was getting into some unbelievable areas. I mean, a friend of the show, Casper Wright, just is effortless every single week, consistent. She's fantastic. But I do think, Caroline coming back as well. I know you've heard me speak about Caroline a lot. Unfortunately, she's been injured this season quite a bit. And she came over from North Carolina Courage after only being injured for like an ACL, then came back. But this player is top. I'm telling you now, she really is. So the fact she's back, scoring, strength in depth. They still are without Alex Greenwood. She's injured, and that's been their biggest problem last year. Lauren Hemp, Alex Greenwood, those types of injuries. So I think they're in a great spot right now, and fair play to them because it took them until late on in the game, 60, 70 minutes to get the first goal, and then they run away with it.
Yeah, that really is the question for City now, isn't it? Because I still think last season, if they hadn't had all those injuries, I think they would have won the title last season. And now it really is a question, can they keep everyone fit? They don't have Champions League this season, so that's something that works in their favour. And you do wonder how much of an impact not having Champions League makes when it comes to a title race, because suddenly they're mounting a huge challenge here. The final game we'll talk about in this section is Arsenal Liverpool. Arsenal leaving it late again and relying on Miss Clutch player herself, Stina Blackstenius. I mean, she got the winner in the end. But again, I feel like I've literally said this exact sentence to you before, but it wasn't convincing, was it, from Arsenal?
No, it wasn't. I mean, we've got Jenna Clark coming up on the show later on, and they haven't got a win yet. So these are the types of games that you'd expect more from Arsenal. Olivia Smith scoring against her former side, Taylor Hines starting against her former side. Also, Renee Segers has spoken about they're going to be looking for another goalkeeper in the transfer window because Borber ended up starting in this game. So Wilbur Moy, Cooney Cross started in this game as well. I mean, they got the job done. Stina Blackstenius, like one of those players I always compliment a lot because she just gets on with it and does her job. She doesn't probably start as many games as she'd want, isn't playing as much as she'd probably want, but she is the bag lady, isn't she? She literally comes on, bags a goal, and off she goes. So it wasn't convincing, took until the 88th minute. But I think there's been a lot of outside noise this week. We spoke about it on the show last week about Arsenal, dressing room, unrest. A lot of the players have come out and obviously shut that down, which you would as a player. So, like I said, I'm not sure there's much truth in it, but there has to be some type of truth because I don't think stories come out of nowhere, especially in the women's game. In the men's game, they do. But I find in the women's game, from my experience of playing and now on the other side, I find stories don't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, because a lot of the players and Renee Slagers were asked about that article that came up in The Athletic, and they've basically responded and said, no, we're fine. Everyone has their difficulties as a club, but there's no issues that are kind of preventing us from getting along well enough. And you see the coherency on the pitch. And obviously, while they struggle with results, they're going to have that. But I don't know whether you ever had this, Leanne, as a player or as a team, does that hit you quite hard if there's outside noise in the media that's really negative around the club?
Not really, particularly, because if it does, if it's true, but if it's not, then you stick together. A lot of the Lionesses speak about blocking out the outside noise when obviously people are questioning team selection of Serena and which players should be playing. So I personally think like if you're having a rough time, it can affect you individually, if you're having a rough time as a player. But I think ultimately as a team, like I think people are just trying to find reasons as to why Arsenal are not firing on all cylinders. I think people have to try and forget that they won the Champions League and realise this is kind of where Arsenal were at before Renée Segers came in. But they're still in a decent spot. I think they've just started this season not great. They're still in the top four, still 1 point behind Manchester United, 2 points behind Chelsea, you know. So it's not devastation. It feels that way because I think a lot of people are thinking Arsenal could win the WSL. I personally didn't think that beginning of the season. I still think we're still a little bit off.
Yeah, I think the real problem though is going to come when I have a feeling they will miss out on Champions League because I just think the top three teams are stronger than them at this point, and I don't see Man United missing out on Champions League this season. I don't. So that is when I suppose it does become an issue. But we'll get there when we get there. A final word on Beata Olsen because she becomes the first player to score in her first four WSL starts. I mean, for Liverpool, it's been really tough this season. Not a lot of bright sparks for them, but she's got to be the silver lining. I mean, and what I'm so impressed about here is Liverpool, they struggled over summer. They lost Olivia Smith. They brought in Beata Olsen, who's a relative unknown. She's come in, she's absolutely incredible. But what I'm already thinking is, are they going to be able to hang on to her? Because when you get a striker who's that good, other clubs come circling. And what I don't want to see happen is exactly what happened with Olivia Smith, because that's going to leave them in this position again where they just don't have any players.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because, she's 24 years old, come over from Kristianstad, Swedish international. Like, it's difficult. I agree with you because it's like what will happen is the so-called better club will come and take those types of players. But I do hope that Liverpool can hold on to players like that and recruit because in reality, like it's not been good enough this year. Have they got good enough squad? Probably not. Are the players trying 150%? Absolutely. And I do think they're not far off, but at the end of the day, so close but so far, you know? 3 points is all that really matters. And when you're in a dressing room where, you're playing games and you're not winning at all, it is hard. It's really hard. I've been there when I played for the Boston Breakers in the NWSL, and we were in a really, really bad way at times. Really bad way. But you have to stick together as a team. If you believe in what the coach, we had a coaching change during that time as well. If you believe in what the coach is doing, then it becomes a little bit easier. But sometimes as players, you can kind of come together and think, actually, you have to play for your pride, even if you don't agree. I'm not saying this is the case at Liverpool. I think they are playing for Gareth Taylor. I don't get the feeling they're not. But I think you have to kind of look from within as a player as well. What can I do? And I do think they're playing to their best of their potential, but they need to recruit Uma, and that's the reality.